Hi there, this is Khyati from Grey Edge and I welcome you to this very descriptive video where we are going to explore the key new features added in the release of Revit MEP 2022. So let's get started with the very first feature listed here, that is System Analysis Additions and Enhancements. This feature allows engineers to get more detailed outputs related to loads and psychometrics of the analytical systems created within Revit. Firstly, in Revit 2022, when we go to Energy Settings, here we have an access to better information. For example, when we click on the Mode drop-down, now we can enable Use Rooms and Spaces. That is, we can have Use Rooms and Spaces being selected for the new energy analytical model over here in Revit 2022. Further, when we export these analytical spaces to GBXML option over here, we get a consolidated options dialog box in the release of Revit 2022 where we can select the mode to export the analytical spaces. Next, the system analysis icon, which is now added to the Analyze tab in the ribbon, has a direct access to settings where we can access the energy settings and set all our values that are needed for energy settings before analyzing the final report. Moving on to the load report, Revit 2022 introduces this new heating and cooling load report, which is easy to understand and which is easy to navigate and in a format which is really very informative. After having our analysis report being extracted over here, we can change the report style in the properties to the original detailed report which was there in the earlier version, or we can change to the new loads report here. This analysis report is divided into 3 tabs: the Zone Load Summary, System Load Summary, and Design Psychometrics. Further, we can come here to Revit Units and set our desired units. Also, we can click on this option to print our report to PDF. Further, under Zone Load Summary, we can decide and we can select our zone and we can toggle to cooling or heating loads report. Here in the report, we have the peak conditions being displayed at outside and within the zone with a range of quick engineering checks. Finally, we also have a series of pie charts that are used to graphically display the peak heating and cooling load information. So these were the system analysis additions and enhancements which were added in Revit 2022. Next, we start with another prominent feature, that is native PDF export. In all the versions of Revit, we did not have an access to native PDF exportation tools. But here in Revit 2022, when we click on the File tab, Export, here we have an option of PDF where we can select our options and directly print our sheets to PDF. For example, we can click on Selected Views and Sheets and edit the sheets that are needed to print to PDF by specifying the filter as, let's say, Sheets. Here we get a range of all the sheets which are created in the project. Select the sheets that are needed to print it at a time. I'll say Select, and here we have this option that is Combine Selected Views and Sheets to single PDF, or we can uncheck this option and we can have separate sheets in separate PDFs. Further, we can also have the zooming options being selected, paper placement, appearance, etc., and directly click on Export to have all the sheets being printed to PDF. So that was how we can simply export our sheets to PDF. We can specify a keyboard shortcut for this tool to swiftly access the same. Further, we move on to the next feature, that is Multileader Tags. Do you have multiple elements of the same type placed next to each other? In Revit 2021, if we have to tag these elements, we needed to place the tags separately like this. And we had no way to combine both these tags. In Revit 2022, now we can place the tag for one element, select the tag, and we have this option that is Add Remove Host in the ribbon, where we can select the new element and have our combined tag placed for the same elements next to each other. So that's really interesting. Further, we move on to another best feature in Revit 2022, that is split schedules across sheets. In earlier versions, we could only split our schedules by clicking on this button, which would just split our schedules but on the same sheet. But now in Revit 2022, when we just go to the schedule, here we have this option in the ribbon that is split and place. So we can click on split and place, and here we get a dialog box to select the sheets on which we need to place this particular schedule. So let's say I'll select these sheets and I'll click on split. And here we get our schedules being split into two different sheets. I can click and specify the placement on the first sheet, and at the same place it is also placed on the second sheet. So that is how we can simply specify the sheet numbers, and we can have our schedules split in two or more different sheets, and then we can specify the placement. The default placement is specified, but later we can select these schedules and we can change the placement of the schedule as needed as per the sheet. It is not changed in the previous sheet. That is, we can change the placement of these schedules as needed individually. So this is how we can dynamically split the schedules together in different sheets. Moving on further, we have the next feature as revision numbering flexibility. In Revit 2021, we just had limited options of numbering the revisions like numeric and alphanumeric. Here in Revit 2022, when we go to revisions other than alphanumeric and numeric, now we can click on customize numbering, and here we can create a new numbering option, name it, specify whether we want numeric or alphanumeric, the minimum number of digits, starting number, the prefix as needed, suffix, click on OK, and this new numbering facility is added other than alphanumeric and numeric. I'll click on OK, and under the numbering option now I have three options: alphanumeric, numeric, and the new numbering option that we added. So here we can go on adding our revisions and specify whether we want which numbering option in which revision. So that is how we can now customize the numbering option in Revit 2022. So this way we can add the numbering options as per the standards that are needed in each project. Finally, we go to our last feature, that is view filters multi-selection. In all the versions of Revit, it was not possible to select multiple filters together using the Shift key or the Control key. So if we have to make changes like enabling the filter or changing the visibility or changing the graphics for multiple filters, we had to do it individually. Here in Revit 2022, now we can press Ctrl and select our filters, and we can make the changes to these filters together. That is, I can either press Ctrl and select my filters, or even I can press Shift and select multiple filters, and I can disable the filters or enable the filters. Also, I can change the visibility or graphics that are needed for these filters together. So this is really a very good feature where we have to make the same changes in multiple filters. So I don't have to do it individually, I can do it together. So that's all for this time. Hope you find this content informative. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for such updated content ahead.